area, in case of floods, disasters, anything of that nature. Because we pretty much tax everybody, the local militia people here. Once you come up a little bit,
was the question a tax-free militia?
We're talking about tax, we're not saving money.
Yeah, that's a great idea. The question is that he wants to know if the county could use people who are in the militia, who are trained for doing different things, maybe in a case of an emergency or something like that, that they would be called upon. I was founding president of the Whistle Stop Railroad Club there in England, in Train Depot. Get a chance to check it out, Julie. You know, you can form your own nonprofit organization, and you can put yourself out on contact other organizations in the county, let them know what resources and training you have available. There's the Mojave County Search and Rescue. There's a lot of organizations out there that can maybe use extra people when there's an emergency, when they're out looking for somebody. So keep that in mind. But that'd be great for you to start your own nonprofit organization and get out there and help people.
Okay, I'm a big Second Amendment supporter. I think if all heck breaks loose, that I would welcome anybody to help Mojave County. And that not only includes the Arizona Rangers, the National Guard, our search and rescue, but any militia group, as long as they are not extreme militia, and I don't even know what the definition is of that. But there are some groups that I might not welcome, but most of the militias, I think, are well-trained and respected. And if I needed help, absolutely.
It's not just about the militia groups, it's about any group, any individual. Volunteers throughout Mojave County are always welcome and needed. They're probably one of the best ways to get things done. Thank you, Campus Cleaners, a volunteer group that has worked with this county, and the county has then paid for them to go to not paid them, but pay the landfill charges to dump what they have picked up. We have more groups and we bring more groups together, and the more we know about like your group and what you have to offer, other people that can do CPR training. You know what, collaborative ideas is what makes this Mojave County and citizens come together to grow.
Our country is built by volunteers. Volunteers will keep our country great. Those of y'all who don't know, I'm in the militia. I have been for the last 4 years. Would I welcome using militia? Absolutely. Do we vet members? Absolutely. I've talked to each candidate for sheriff about that very thing. The problem is most people confuse militant with militia. Here in Mojave County, there's approximately 50 militias, and right now we're working on consolidating all of them, not under one flag, but under mutual aid agreements. I would welcome militia, I would welcome volunteers at any point, because volunteers are what make America great. Thank you. That's not an easy question, but I will tell you that it does come down to management. We can sit here and say, you know, throw money at it, which is anybody involved with government for a real long term, that seems to be the answer. You know, can we throw an extra work party at it from those in the military? Can we throw more tax dollars at it? Absolutely not. It takes proven leadership, and it takes a real manager to get up there, grab the bull by the horns, rein in the out of control spending, and start addressing problems one at a time. We'll sit down, we'll say, for this week, this is my #1 priority, and I will address that until it's fixed, and then I'll move on to my second, and my third, if I have time. I don't sleep, so working through problems is really good for me. Thank you.
When you talk about fixing the problems, there is an issue. We are very diverse in areas, from condensed areas to the Golden Valley needs, to the White Hills, to the Colorado City, to all the different things that make up Mojave County. The best way to start looking at a situation is to pinpoint what you need first and use collaborative, and I'll say it again, the best way to get a solution is to listen to the people, because people have all different ideas to come up with something that works for the area in which you live in. So it's the small things that need to be taken in, considered, talked about, put out there, and then start solving it. Change doesn't happen overnight. Change happens with the people coming together in the areas to meet the needs of what takes precedence first.
Government is here to provide an essential service that you can't get anyplace else. We're linked together in our communities by our common issues, not our common interests. We have to figure out how to bring economic development in. And I'm trying to do that by helping with your infrastructure, and I hope that you will see that in the years to come. Mojave County's population is over 200,000. We're ranking 6th in population in the state, but we have the very lowest in sales tax. 1/4 of 1 penny is all we're charging. We have the 6th lowest in property tax rate. You put those two together and we're tied for 4th place, but yet we're 6th place in population. So, we need economic development so that we can get a larger tax base and share the burden of money for all of the county, all 5 districts. And remember, your supervisor only has 1 vote. No matter who's sitting in my chair, they have 1 vote. Thank you.
The Board of Supervisors create policy. That policy is then given to the county administrator to implement. If the county administrator is having trouble implementing that policy and getting it down to the lower levels of the departments, to where the county is saying, hey, we need you guys to fix the roads, and we tell the county administrator, hey, the roads need to be fixed. The county administrator says, hey, you guys, when you're out there in the graders, maybe you just need to hit the major roads and not all the roads or whatever. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe we need to take a look at how these policies are being implemented, and it needs to be followed up on and maybe redressed at the future meetings. Thank you. Taking over the dams and the international building codes. With international building codes, you're kind of putting handcuffs on what you can do in your own community. You've got to adhere to whatever other communities in other parts of the world are doing. Imagine you've got a couple of cars in a race, and you've got one car that's representing one country and another car's representing another country. The one car that has the international building codes on it, it has mufflers on it, it has catalytic converter, it's got restriction on the carburetor, it's got two guys in the back seat to make sure the guy's shifting correctly, seatbelts for everybody, helmets for everybody. Then you got the car next to it that has no mufflers, a full-on engine, one guy sitting on a crate with duct tape holding his hands to the steering wheel, and they drop the flag and they say go. Well, who's going to win? The guy in this other car is going to win because he doesn't have the restrictions, and that's what international building codes put on us.
Prior to 2007, we didn't even require permits or building codes in the outlying areas. Mojave County changed that before I came into the office, and the building codes were updated from 2006 to 2012. The 2006 building codes were antiquated, and the building contractors were using the new code books that come out every 3 years. So Mojave County did opt to upgrade every 6 years in order to save money. So our insurance rating was then at a rating of 4. It would have dropped if the codes hadn't been upgraded. So home insurance and flood insurance would have been affected. Your homeowner's insurance would have been affected. Because we upgraded the codes, our rating is now a 3 or a 4, and we wouldn't qualify for all these federal grants to help us get roads and other things done in Mojave County. So what we did in Mojave County, we adopted these new codes, but we changed specifically for areas where it would hurt Mojave County. We took out the sprinkler systems and other things like that before we adopted it.
Mojave County is kind of its own monster when we look at codes, and I think that we've done a very good job when we had to adopt these for safety, for other provisions, insurance, and those. And the ones we have now, they revamped them, as Ms. Bishop has said, and they are fewer. The only problem with those is even in some areas, when we're looking at these codes, it also goes to another factor we haven't even touched yet, is no matter if you build your house to a T and everything is permitted, you're in some areas that you don't have any fire emergency districts. A house burned down. They weren't in a district. It took them way too long to get there. The fire department, did everything they could. They were there busted butt. Those people were not allowed to claim anything but what the contents of their house were. So I'm for the codes, I'm for safety codes, I'm for permitting codes, but we also, along with that, need to take a step further when we're looking at other issues. But UN restrictions like that, Nate?
I hate that word international because it means that the United Nations Agenda 21 is right here in Mojave County. Yes, sir. They were adopted, and what happens is it's a lot behind the scenes stuff that people don't realize, is that the federal government is holding us hostage, saying if you don't adopt this, you're not going to get your money. Imagine what happens if we take our lands back and we're not beholden to the federal government for every little scrap of money. Thank you. He wants to know what we are going to do with education. Can you be more specific? In the district? That actually comes down to the school board, and taxation is huge with me. The mismanagement of tax funds irritates me more than anything. We're mixed up, so I don't use the words I use normally. But it downright ticks me off. When you have teachers, you know, I can remember when I was in school and we didn't have to do fundraisers for every little scrap of funding that came along. I think it comes down to a management with Kingman Unified School District, and I hope that when this election cycle is up, that we give the people that like to spend gobs and gobs of money out and actually put real conservatives in. Thank you.
I, on the other hand, look at it a little different. Taxation, I don't agree with. School boards that are also being hindered by the state funds that are supposed to go to our schools. Like this prison is going to take away from it. All these different things have taken away from our schools. How are we going to change that? I honestly don't know at this second. Because I have not crunched numbers of the budget. I have numbers for the budget. Cuts need to be made, yes. But not at the expense of safety or personnel and people. So we do need to find a way. It's very important in our education and our libraries to find the means, extra grants, tent city, and put money back in. Put it for the kids, because the kids are the future of Mojave County. And that in itself is something that we need to prepare for. And that doesn't just happen tomorrow, but it starts tomorrow and looking at things. So I will do a great job trying, I will find, I will educate, I will strive to find the information to help find funds and work with the school boards in any manner to bring those necessities to the youth of tomorrow.
Okay, before you start my time, let me just ask you a question. How many in the room have ever been to a school board meeting? That's amazing. Congratulations, I'm proud of you, because most folks, you pay most of your property taxes to the school districts, and rarely does anybody go. The times that I've gone to the Kingman Unified School District meetings, there's nobody there from the public. And I personally have a very good relationship with Roger Jacks, our superintendent, and I know every one of the school board members in the Kingman Unified School District. And I go to the meetings and I meet with them. Just recently I wrote a letter asking them to reconsider taking the 7th and 8th graders that have been moved to Black Mountain School and put them back in Dolan Springs and Meadview where they're home with their families. Thank you very much. Currently they ride the school bus from Whitefield to Meadview, Dolan Springs, the 7th and 8th graders and the high school students. And they travel and they will be using Legend Ranch Road. The school bus is very supportive of that, and Mr. Jacks is writing me a letter of support for that road. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep meeting with the school board and letting them know how we feel. Thank you.
We could actually have Mr. Ricka answer that question for the young man to find out what they're going to do for education. You know, things are changing rapidly, you guys. The world is changing quickly. It used to be you went to school because that's where the books were, that's where the person was that taught you how to do something. Nowadays, you go on the computer, you need to fix your car, you type in, I need to change the timing belt on my car, there's a guy on YouTube, shows you how to do it. You can look up anything you want on the internet. You can spend your time playing games, or you can spend your time learning about Agenda 21, United Nations, the Bilderberg Group. Our money is intentionally devalued by a private bank called the Federal Reserve. That's why every school in our nation and every person struggles financially. It's because our money is intentionally devalued, driving people to borrow money and work harder for the banks of this nation. It's got to stop.
What do you think economic growth for Coastal Valley should be, considering our water and how this bishop is always saying, but important
just a fancy word for jobs. We want good paying middle class jobs, and we want them in Golden Valley as well as the rest of Mojave County. I think the paving of Legend Ranch Road and Colorado Road is just the beginning of economic development in this area. Once that road is paved, and all these people that are going to specifically the Golden Valley and Laughlin and Bullhead City will be coming right down the Legend Ranch Road, and they predict that road is going to have between 250 to 500 cars a day on that road. There's going to be a sign there saying Golden Valley services this direction, Laughlin the other direction. So you'll lose some people that are driving through town anyway, but others are going to take a look at a shortcut to go to Golden Valley to get gas, to get food, to eat at the restaurant, rather than to go through Kingman and then have to double back and come all the way through. So my hope for Golden Valley is that we get some kind of economic development that the community will support. I know there's a lot of businesses that are coming and they're going out of business, and I don't know what the answer to that is, unfortunately.
You know, they say it takes money to make money, and that money will create jobs if it's allowed to be used in this valley. Somebody has to have a pocket full of money, has to come out here, look at a piece of property and say, wow, you know, if I build something here, I'm going to get a return on my investment. I'm going to make some money on this. It's going to be worthwhile for me to use my time and my talents and my energy and my money to do this so that I can get a return on my investment. If somebody looks at the valley and goes, you know what, I know if I go out there, I'm going to be hassled by planning and zoning forever. It's going to be hard for me to get ADOT to allow egress to my property. It's going to be hard to get a sewage system in. They're just going to go somewhere else where it's easier to make money. You got to make it easy for people to make money. They'll come, they'll create jobs.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Economic growth is not just about big corporations. It's about the family dream to hand down a business. It's about the inspiration that your kids go to college and want to come here and be an entrepreneur and have a mom and pop store. It starts with cleaning up. Code enforcement. Get the buildings down that don't belong here. They're unsightly. It starts with revamping the rezoning process. Instead of being like this and all the hula hoops, open our hands and say, welcome to Mojave County, let me hold your hand. We have simplified the process. We want you. See how clean and beautiful we are. Economic growth has got so many other factors than just big business. And we need to start focusing on that. We need to start focusing on where the smaller businesses and not bypassing them and revamping the system to make what economic growth is to be. A community of businesses working together.
The government doesn't create economic wealth. Quite the opposite. It usually stunts it. Can you hear me? Okay. We do need to cut through the red tape. It comes right down to management. It comes right down to leadership. We've all seen the ADOT plans for out here. That is actually going to stunt economic growth through the valley. And what we hear from our current manager is, it's an ADOT problem. It's not. It's a Golden Valley problem. Because if we put up center dividers here, the businesses that feed off both sides of the highway are going to fail because people are going to go all the way up there to Kingman or all the way up there to Bullhead. It takes common sense to build the economy. Thank you.
The money that was used to improve Legend Ranch Road was approved by the Board of Supervisors earlier in the year, and it's a development fund for roads. It wasn't meant to pave residential roads, but as time progresses, Legend Ranch Road is being worked on right now. It's going to happen. You can't reverse that. Next, I plan to pave 3 miles of Shinnerock. If I can get that approved by the board. And remember, I'm one vote. That will take all the way from 93 Merrill Park, Legend Ranch Road, past 68, down to Shinnerock, left over to I-40. There's various reasons why that's important. After that, I want to finish the rest of Shinnerock, and that's going to take some engineering because there's the Sacramento wash, and that's why the road stopped there, is because it needs a wash there. It needs a lot of money, more than $550,000, certainly millions of dollars. And then the rest of Chino I want to paint because the Sacramento wash is there too. Anyway, more plans.
I don't know what else I can really say about roads at this point. We have talked about them, we have answered every question, we have explained where they come from, the HERF funds. I have definitely stated my opinion on that, county roads, non-county roads, the emergency personnel, and where we need to redirect some funds, especially to the ones that are posing hazards to emergencies and the golden hour and the citizens. And I'm going to stay focused on that direction of trying, to push forward to make sure some of these get done. It doesn't happen overnight, but it can and will happen with persistence in finding and allowing the extra HERF funds and using and utilizing them, as you go to get that done.
We've kind of beat that subject of roads up, but it does come down, it has, I have to look at it differently. We beat that subject. The HERF funds, some of them are there, some of them aren't, as far as the roads, and it's going to take sitting down with public works to the point, look, these are the concerns. And if it means jumping in I would prefer to drive it in, like a deuce and a half, just so they can feel every bump on the road. Because I understand about looking at it and how horrible it is.
Somebody lands in that top, those tunnels, they're gonna break an axle. Children been dancing like a chicken on a hot grill way down.
Yeah, once again, we have addressed the roads a lot, but as far as the paving of Legend Ranch Road, that just kind of smacks of welfare for the developer out there. Like I said, I paid for my own roads through assessments on my property, and I think they should have done the same thing out there. It would have taken care of this whole situation with everybody here. So if I would have been on the board, I would have said no. They need to pay their own way, just like you guys pay your own way.
Actually, I should call Rodney Head up to help me with this, but I need to let you know, if you haven't read my handout, I am a veteran law enforcement officer, some 30 years. My husband's retired 36 years, both with the Mojave County Sheriff's Office. This is nothing new to us, and it's something that we would like to have fixed. I think the compression issue has been a problem since the early 80s, and it just continues to get worse. My thought is if we ever get a revenue source, such as the quarter-cent sales tax that I've introduced several times, we could not only reduce property taxes, we'd have the revenue to do a salary comp study. We could get our law enforcement where they should be, and we could also do the same thing for the rest of the employees. We could find out if they're being paid too much or too little, but we can't take that study into consideration without a revenue source. So on the operational side, I hope to engage on personnel issues involving law enforcement and our own county people. Thank you.
You know, once again, everything boils down to money. You know, we want money for roads, we want money for our schools, school supplies, we want money for our sheriffs and their cars. We want money for a lot of different things. Unfortunately, our money is intentionally devalued by a private bank called the Federal Reserve. Our money doesn't go as far as it used to. A lot of you senior citizens living on fixed incomes, you can't believe how the prices have risen on goods and services that you guys provide or that you guys need. You know, we have this thing called Obamacare. Our medical has gone way up. It all comes down to money, and as long as 74% of this land is off the books, the federal control, we're always going to be poor here in our county. I'd like to see the sheriffs make comparable money too, but it's got to come from somewhere. And until we can get that land out of the Fed's hands or they pay their fair share in our county, then it's going to be that way, unfortunately.
I know the county's hurting. It's hurting bad. Yucca. I listened to some people talk to me in the office today at the BOS about Yucca. The response time, White Hills, open, different areas, they're very thin. And in order to get to a point in which we have the extra money that can go to the Mojave County Sheriff's and services that need it, we need to start, and I know they're doing it, but I can't say it enough, zero-based budgeting. Once it's learned, once it's utilized to what it is supposed to be, that's where you start growing. Don't, you know, I mean, I read a lot about it, I know about it prior through my education, but getting there and getting it running is what this county needs to do for our budget. By utilizing it properly, it does result in extra funds that can be placed into the areas most desperately needed.
More deputies on the street. Restructure the budget. Quit spending $500,000 on a new blade every couple of years. And that gets us a lot of deputies. We could take old cop cars, turn them into county vehicles, and no, it's not going to leave you on the side of the road, as has been suggested. There's ways to save money. Just sometimes it's like hitting a brick wall to get anyone in government that's been in government most of their lives to learn a different way of thinking. That's where you need a businessman and a proven manager. Thank you.
supervisor will have to take over Golden Valley Fire District. We're one of the most solid fire districts, real fire districts in Mojave County. I give you the opportunity to correct yourself here.
Okay, I can correct some of that, but not all of that. I have a pamphlet from Mojave County that shows Lake Mojave Rancho's fire department gets about a fourth of the tax from the fire department, from the property taxes. The Golden Valley Fire Department, it looks like they get about the same amount as Lake Mojave Rancho's fire department. If you're outside the city limits, Northern Arizona Consolidated, same thing, and I'll give this to Mervin so you can take a look at that and verify when it's your time to speak. But I have not talked to the governor yet because I mentioned earlier that I do have an agenda item at the next board meeting asking my fellow board members to approve a letter asking for a meeting with the governor to find out just what is happening with this private prison purchase. But what we have been told by our experts is that the state of Arizona does not pay property taxes. So the property taxes that are coming to the schools, to Mojave County, to the fire districts, to the other special districts will not continue at the prison, from the prison.
Look, should I redirect just one correction? That prison is not within the fire district limits. We don't get any money from the tax base that they pay. If they're not in the fire district.
You know, sir, I'm not here to argue with you. You may be absolutely correct, and I hope you are, but I won't know until I have the meeting with the governor. So right now, they're not communicating with the board of supervisors at all. And if you're communicating with the governor, that's good. I'm proud of you.
Not quite the response to what you were saying, but I think that Mojave County and citizens and everyone needs to open their eyes to the reality of rising district taxes. Rising district fire taxes, and you're right, the Golden Valley are doing very well, but we've also seen the downfall of Billings Springs. We've seen Mojave Valley struggle. We've seen Yucca struggle. We've seen many chloride struggle. We ultimately need to look into our future of what we expect out of medical services and the capability. And I've done a lot of research into what's called county-wide services. It would lower a district tax, but giving a tax to those that don't have services. And I know you're going to go tax, but you know what? The people who don't have services now have no hope in a golden hour. Do you know what they would give to know they have somebody near? I haven't heard one person anywhere I've talked to in those areas complain about having a service, a fire emergency service fee, just like you guys pay for a district. And I think it's something that we really need to do research into for the benefit of this county and the future of medical and quick response during those hours.
What it'll do when you go to a countywide fire district is the people that aren't paying into a fire district right now your fire district accounts for 26% of your tax dollars, and your property taxes are going to go up 26%. Or I should say theirs if you're already in the district. I've even taken the chance to speak to the different firefighters and fire chiefs. They're not for it. The problem was why the fire districts went insolvent was mismanagement of funds by not only their chief, but by their board. Because no one had the sand to stand up and tell them to quit spending money. Thank you.
If I'm understanding the question correctly, when the state takes over the prison complex out there, I think that there should be something in the contract that requires them to continue to get their services from the Golden Valley Fire Department. And no, there shouldn't be. Because they contract with you guys, right? They're outside the fire district?
We're outside the fire district. We have an independent contract.
Sure.
We have, well, we have NCI.
You should have it with the state. You should have the same contract with the state.
The state mandates, they buy that property, the state mandates, that the operator must continue to fire permission during that.
There you go. It must. Yeah, so that they're gonna have to pay you. They must continue that service and they're gonna have to pay you guys. Because it's a contract service, just like they're contracting for living, just like they're contracting for food, just like they're contracting for any other service that they get out there, they're gonna have to contract with you for your fire service. Oh, and I did want to compliment the timekeeper tonight. Although she is related, I think, to somebody up here, she hasn't been keeping correct time, you're not giving them any extra. I feel that the county administrator's job is really, really cushy when he has a nice big financial cushion. And I also feel that when they have these rainy day funds and emergency funds, they kind of abuse that. All that money is overtaxation. They should have in their budget already monies for emergencies. I think that that allows the county administrator not to have a very sharp pencil to make sure that his budget is running efficiently and that his departments that are underneath him are doing the best they can to make sure they get every bit of value out of every dollar that's spent.
I agree with you, Mr. Mervin. The one thing I can add to that, when you're going through and you're looking at the rainy day funds, the cushions, you're looking at what we had in 2014, 2015, 2016. We always keep that extra added cushion and we base what we're looking at from the year prior, what we're gonna need. But truly, when you're looking at these things, you should never base next year's on what you used. You should start looking at what do you need, not what do you want. And change the way that we start doing that. And by doing that is, like I said, utilizing the zero-based budget for what it is meant to be. And it solves those problems. It leaves you finding the money where it should be to utilize in those areas and to Mojave County Sheriff's Office as well in other areas.
We're going to spend some of those funds. Other counties around the state run below 10% in rainy day contingency funds. And the rainy day is upon us. The economy right now is failing. You guys all know that. I won't sugarcoat it for you. 2007, 2008, when we were making money hand over fist, the rainy day fund was okay. The rainy day is upon us. We're going to get into those funds. We're going to restructure it a little bit. And we're going to have to spend it. Thank you.
Going back to the economic growth part 12. Where is the national form of investment growth? We have looking at why are they not building?
The grocery store, what you got to do, you got to find someone willing to invest about $5 million right now to clear out the land, put in the parking lot, put in the building, jump through all the red tape that it takes to get the permits and the septic and all that. And once they know that they can do that, they've got the investors for it, then they have to find a grocery store that's willing to come in and occupy that building. It comes right down to can they make their money back? Most businesses want to make their money back within 2 to 3 years. I mean, it's simple economics. I'm not going to loan somebody $5, and if I'm never going to get it back, you know. So you look at that when they're putting up a $5 million building or whatever, and trying to get people into it, they need to get a return on their investment. Thank you.
That's okay. We have already hit economic growth in like your strip mall. It has been approved for the planning and zoning. It got approved for the BOF, the board of supervisors as well. And now it really is about the investor themselves to break ground, find the people to occupy the spaces they're looking at. And it is back to the money aspect and wanting to invest here. And going back to that, if you want to invest here, we have to make it look pretty. We have to have open arms. We have to invite them in. We have to be clean. Make it look like the desert that's in the pictures, not the desert that the desert numbers have, left behind. But that's where your economic growth starts. But that project was approved, and it's all about the finances and investors at this time.
Okay, going back to Legend Ranch Road, I am so proud of that road, and I wish I could get you on board with it, because I think in time you're going to love it as much as I am. And so I envision at Highway 93, I-11 and Legend Ranch Road, maybe a truck stop. I envision on Highway 68 in Colorado, maybe your grocery store would be there, because you're going to have a lot more traffic going past there, and people will be stopping at businesses that are right off there, and hopefully they'll go into Golden Valley and do other shopping, and I believe they will. But we need to promote business opportunities and economic growth with global competitiveness, and we've got to have our roads and our rail and our ports, and we need to be able to move our goods to market. And I'm a member of the Canada and Kingman Manufacturing Association. I'm also a member of the Cities and Towns League and the Arizona Commerce Department. We communicate, but it's all about economic development. It's all about jobs and getting people to and from with proper infrastructure. Thank you.
Once again, it's about finding somebody who wants to invest some money out here. You've got to have somebody who wants to come out here with a bunch of money, and they think, I'm going to make money on my money. Because there's no reason to invest out here if you're not going to make money, or you're going to lose your money. We are going through an inflationary period. You always hear about inflation, because inflation helps the banks get rich and the upper people get rich. Deflation that you never hear about, that's where you go to we've experienced a deflation in gas prices. You go to the store, instead of gas being $3 a gallon, it's $2 a gallon. That's deflation. You get more for your money. If we could have deflation in other areas of the economy, people would have more money, people would be able to spend more. If somebody goes in here to put a grocery store, they're going to have to compete against Walmart, Sam's Club, Safeway. It's tough to compete. I have a lady that says they want to start here so they don't have to go to Kingman to get a gallon of milk. How many gallons of milk you got to buy to make a store successful?
residents, our taxpayers, all of you, me, the county board of supervisors, all of our employees, and we do have an economic development department. Last year, maybe it was the year before, we had town halls and we talked about a grocery store. And our economic developer put together a booklet. He put together a website for Golden Valley grocery stores. It's available still on our website. We sent letters out. We, the economic development department, sent letters out to all the large grocery store chains, and we send this study to them. It has demographics, it has populations, it has everything that a business owner that wanted to invest millions of dollars would want to know. And the one investor that the young man spoke of on Estrella in 68, he would very much love to put a shopping center out there, but he's looking for people to buy into his idea and have different stores and banks and everything. And he hasn't been able to find people willing to share with him the investment to put that out at Estrella. And most of the town people in Golden Valley that I talked to, they didn't like that location either. And any location you come up with, there's going to be pros and cons, and it's difficult.
Yeah, I have one more question now that I
I keep hearing, up there that take back our land, take back our land. Can you give me a resolution? How would you go about doing taking back our land?
The American Lands Council is working on that. I think our county should file suit with them. And, when you look at a map of the United States and you see how much land in the West is controlled by the feds, whereas states in the Midwest and the East Coast have very, very small amounts of land. Even here in Arizona, Maricopa County in Phoenix, 2% of the land is controlled by the feds. Imagine if Maricopa County, 74% of their land was controlled by the feds. Do you think they'd have all that economic growth down there? Do you think they'd have all that development down there if 74% of Maricopa County was controlled by the feds? I don't think so. So we need to get that land out of their hands and onto the books where we can tax it and we can develop it.
So are you saying that you would sue them to take back our land? Through a court?
Court is the only thing, I'm sorry, can I answer? Court's the only thing that the federal government sees. Our representatives in Washington, they're not our representatives. They're Washington's representatives here in Arizona. They don't care about us. They care about Washington, D.C. So until we get rid of the guys that are in there now and get people that care more about Arizona than Washington, D.C., things aren't going to change. So if you file a lawsuit, you bring attention to it, maybe we can get it resolved.
Okay, so most of the conversation has been, it's all about money, but now it's all about who you elect when it comes time to go to the polls. So be careful who you elect because it makes a difference. Our federal lands, our county lands, and our resources should be ours to manage or to mismanage, not the federal government's. There's a lot of support for this, but the big problem is immediate funding, going back to money. As soon as we start the fight, we actually lose a lot of federal money, millions of dollars. We have to have a financial plan in place for the duration that the transfer of lands will take. This is not going to happen overnight. There's going to be some very serious legal fees. The biggest dilemma is the loss of money from those lands in the meantime. So we have to figure out how to survive, but we're going to demand our federal lands back until we figure out how to make money from those lands. So it's complex, but I'm in support of it. I love what Mervin said, and I would love to take back our federal lands and either manage them or mismanage them, but it'll be our decision.
Can't really add much to that because that is correct. And I stand absolutely behind the, with change and in the future, and it doesn't happen overnight, but as we, get things going and get money and take rainy day funds and start building, I would love to see it happen.
The American Land Council has already been successful in one county of getting back their land. So yeah, we're going to lose some money. So in the meantime, we'll have to have the funds there. But usually, like in Clark County, they lose $1, I believe it is, an acre. That's how much it costs to have BLM charge. And when it's in the private citizens, it's the absolute reverse, where I believe it's like they earn $36 an acre. So the transfer would be slow, but you can, you know, if you manage the program right, yes, we can get our lands back, and it'll be up to us to manage them properly. Thank you. First off, thank you, all those that participated in the straw poll. I'm simply going to ask for your vote on August 30th. I'm a proven leader, and I look forward to serving each one of you as your elected representative in the new year. Thank you.
But thank you for all attending. Even thank those who had to leave earlier. Appreciate you guys coming in, spending your time with us this evening to get to know us better. Like I said, I will fight for you. I'm not afraid to do the homework. I don't say I know everything, but I will learn and educate. I will be there, and I do believe that we have a very diverse area and different needs. It's all about reconstructing, revamping, coming together, and I am willing to work hard for that. It would be my honor to serve you. So come August 30th, please look into your candidates and follow your hearts. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming out tonight, and I just want you to know that it is very difficult to communicate with Golden Valley residents, and I'm so hopeful this landowners building will be the answer to that. And I do look forward to working with all of you this coming year for a prosperous and a secure future as I continue to build on your infrastructure here in Golden Valley to bring in economic development and jobs and hopefully a grocery store if that's what you want. We need to stop looking backwards and allow me to continue leading you into the future. I don't think you've ever had a supervisor that's worked as hard and as long hours as I have. And I am dedicated to this job. I would like to have it for 4 more years, and then I plan to retire with my sweet husband over there that's been putting up with all of this frustration during the campaign. So once again, I just want to thank you. I think I am the best candidate for the job. I am probably the most educated next to Mr. Fried. I have the most experience, and I don't have any commitments other than the job. My family's raised. My husband doesn't need me to cook anymore because he's excellent.
Which wasn't here, sorry. Once again, I'd like to thank the people that allowed us the opportunity to speak here tonight, the Golden Paradise Landowners Association. I'd also like to thank again the Northern Arizona Militia for the water. And I'd like to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to come tonight. It was very hot. And spending your evening, there's a lot of things you could have been doing at home, like watching a movie. But we appreciate you coming and listening to all of us up here. Hopefully you'll make the best decision and drive safely, folks. Have a good night. Thank you.